Which style is better for retaining the most length? Is it twists or is it braids? If you're anything like me, you want to grow healthy, long hair. And of course, we are both going to achieve that goal. But is there a quicker way to achieve long hair? And is one particular style better than another? And can we avoid the tedious process of having to decide which style is better? Is it twists or is it braids that's going to help us achieve long, healthy hair in the shortest amount of time as possible? For 3 out of my 4 years growth, I've predominantly worn twists. But for the first year of my hair growth journey, I wore plaits, or braids for my US subscribers. Hey! We all want to discover which style is actually best for growing long, natural hair. And in this video, I'm going to discuss some of my pros and cons of both. I've also spent time researching whether some of the well-known influencers tend to lean towards plaits or twists, because if they can grow long hair, then we can too. But before we go any further, you tell me, which style do you prefer? Is it twists or is it braids? Over my 3 years of wearing twists, I've certainly grown to love them as my go-to protective style. So that's where we're going to start. The first pro of wearing twists for maximum length retention is that they're extremely easy to install. Whilst twists are a great protective style for keeping your hair really clumped together, one of the best things I love about twists is how quickly and how easily they can be installed. I'm able to finger part and just get twisting. You see, recently I switched my hair from having plaits into having twists, and that process took me only just over an hour. The next pro is that they are really easy to undo. With plaits, they pretty much have to be undone from their ends right up to the root. But when my twists are installed properly without me borrowing any hair, I can pretty much undo my twist from almost the top or at least the middle. My third pro of wearing twists for maximum length retention is that they enable regular maintenance. That means I have easy access to my hair to be able to moisturize it, massage it, and oil my scalp. The last pro that I'm going to share from my perspective is the fact that I can easily wash my hair in twists. Just like I mentioned in the last point, twists provide really easy access to my scalp in order for me to be able to shampoo and condition to really get my fingers in there. So those are some of my pros of wearing twists, but what are some of the cons? Firstly, twists get messy and frizzy really quickly. And considering most of us want to be able to wear the style for, about a couple of weeks, then it does mean that, for example, for me, I tend to end up redoing most of those twists. The second con of wearing twists is that they shrink up. Talk about shrinkage. Of course, we do have kinky, coily, natural hair, so it does shrink. But with twists, I find that it's really, really noticeable. You kind of just want your twist to just fall strong, right? But they don't. However, I have recently been installing my twist on dry, stretched hair. So that allows a lot more of the length to be able to show through, which I like. The third con is that twists can cause matting if they're not installed well or if they're not regularly moisturized. Honestly, I've not really experienced this in a major way, but if this is a big factor for you, then it's definitely something that you might want to consider as a con of wearing twists. For me, I wash my hair every 2 weeks. However, because I do wash my hair in twists, it does mean that that's when I tend to get a bit of matting. And plus, I guess matting is not good for our maximum length retention, is it? And so that's why I've listed it as a con. And lastly is an interesting one, I guess. But twists can actually be considered a bit of a boring hairstyle. Now, of course, you can style your twists in different ways, but you don't have the opportunity to flaunt your hair very much or its length whilst it's in twists. Occasionally, I have desired to maybe straighten my hair, put it in a tight bun, for example, or just something a little more fun. So what do you reckon so far? Twists do come up very strong, but they do also have their downsides. So on to plaits. 3 are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken. That's taken from Ecclesiastes 4 verse 12. This particular scripture is referring to people. However, the concept is still relevant for what we're actually discussing. 3 strands woven together is stronger than 2. and 2 strands together is actually stronger than 1. And I'm sure you've noticed the strength and the firmness of plaits compared to twists. So that's my first pro of wearing plaits. They're stronger, and therefore I personally believe that they provide better protection for our hair. This actually leads well onto my second benefit of plaits. You see, because plaits are more tightly compacted and clumped together, they hold moisture in for longer. I find that I can go up to about a week not re-moisturizing my plaits. Whereas with twists, I notice they need a lot more of love and attention throughout the week. And the last pro that came to me about plaits is that plaits stretch my hair better and it shows more of its length. Now, I could really separate these into 2 points because the stretch is one benefit in itself. What I mean by this is after I wash my hair, and because I don't blow dry, if I plait my hair, then I get a much better stretched, blown out look than I do with twists. And again, that's because of how much twists shrink back up. And styling on stretched, blown out hair is way easier than styling on shrunken, wet hair. The second part that I mentioned is that plaits show the length more. To be honest, I don't really need to say much more on that. Just look at this stretch. Okay, so there's some really good pros of both plaits and twists. Even though I could think of more benefits of twists, but the pros of wearing plaits seem to be stronger. I don't know. Let's continue, and maybe considering the downside of plaits will help us to decide which style is better for maximum length retention and hair growth. Okay, so what about the cons of wearing plaits then? Well, firstly, unlike twists, they take longer to install. Not much else has to be said on that, so to be honest, I'm just going to move right along. Secondly, plaits take longer to undo. As I mentioned before, you have to start undoing plaits from the bottom to the top. And because there's 3 strands, there's more opportunity for knots to develop at the bottom of our plaits as well. So it's important to really take your time when you're undoing plaits so that you don't cause any breakage to your ends. As we know, our hair is always growing, but our goal is to prevent breakage of our strands and therefore retain as much length as possible. My last con of wearing plaits is that washing my hair in plaits isn't as effective as it is with twists. Again, because they're more tightly compacted and clumped together, water, shampoo and conditioner has a harder time of being able to penetrate through the strands for a really, really good wash. Of course, we're all here because we want to grow our natural curly hair longer. So what do we do? Which style is it that's going to help us retain the most amount of length? Before we answer that, let's look at what some of the long-haired natural ladies did. Natural 85 has videos dating back to 2008 and 2009 when she first transitioned and did a big chop. In the process of growing her hair long, she wore twists with a few cane row styles. After cutting her hair again, her method to growing her hair long was to wear twists and then wear twist outs. Indigenous strands, her hair is down to her knees. I think I probably mention her in every video that I post. She said she predominantly grew her hair out using twists and head wraps. Something that I'd not really considered before is the fact that she says we need to discover the perfectly sized twists for our hair, and that this is going to be different for every single person. Too small and it might tangle up too much. Too big and it will shrink up and again tangle up. But this is different for every person. Naturally High is no longer intentionally growing her hair, but she has mentioned that she grew her hair with a combination of twists, plaits and buns. From what I've seen of her videos, there were a lot of twisted styles and twist outs. She often plaited the roots, and in order to stretch her twists at nighttime, she would cane roll her hair back. If successful long-haired naturals do gravitate toward twists, I think that says a lot. Does it make sense for me or you watching to do something different? Or is it just that twists are a bit of a hype right now? I don't know, maybe. But I've learned from my hair journey so far, from Natural 85, from Indigenous strands and from Naturally High, that twists definitely do work for retaining length. But my question is, do they retain the maximum amount of length? That's what I want to know. And to answer that question, I think we each need to consider which part of our hair routine is causing us the most trouble. Because if we can make changes in that area, then we'll do well. So for me, washing my hair was fine. Remoisturizing my hair was fine. And keeping my twist maintained was also fine. My problem area was moisturizing and retwisting each individual twist whilst on damp hair. That was the part of the process that I experienced the most frustration with my hair, and I just wanted it to be over. So once I discovered that installing my twist on stretch hair was like
extremely easy. It's as though my eyes were opened. So what am I gonna choose? Am I sticking with twists or am I moving over to plaits? Honestly, I think I've decided what works for me. Because twists can be installed so easily on stretched hair, because they allow me great access to my scalp for washing, massaging and oiling, and because I can maintain them well throughout the week, I think I'm going to stick with twists the majority of the time. But there's a but. The key is needing them to be installed on stretched hair. And this is where I believe I can leverage the benefits of using plaits as well. I'm going to try installing big plaits, like you can see now, after washing my hair, allowing all of that hydration and moisture from my wash to stay in my strands whilst also getting a good stretch as well. Then after about 2 days keeping the plaits in, I've actually had these in for 2 days now. So today I'm going to change these over to twists. Once I have my twists in, I'll probably keep them in for maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Who knows, maybe even longer. Then I'll wash in the twists and repeat the same process. So that's my plan. Whew, that was long. What about you? If there is anything that you should take away from this video as to whether twists or plaits are better for length retention, it's to consider what are your pros and cons, and is there a particular part of your hair routine that you really struggle with? If using twists or using plaits or using a mixture of both like I am can help to make that difficult part of the process much easier, then go for it. Yes, long-haired naturals tend to lean towards twists, but at times they also used plaits, cane rolls, headscarves, and whatever protected their hair the best for the season that they were in. Ultimately, I believe they would all say, do what's best for your hair. So I encourage you with the same. Learn your own hair routine and do what's best for you. But if you need help working out how to develop your own hair routine, then this video is going to help you a lot. You can grow your hair long and healthy, and the method you choose to get there is really up to you. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos on growing our natural, coily, kinky hair to longer lengths, then make sure to hit that subscribe button because this channel exists for exactly that. Thanks again, ladies, and I'll see you on the next one.